Hey guys, welcome back around the drum. I'm Tay, this is David, and that is Jay. And guys, it's been a little while, but let's do another casual Friday.
These are my favorite episodes to do.
I know, me too.
Not when Tay's sick, though.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm here and you're there.
Yeah, I'm not.
So I guess this is my windscreen from now on.
Yeah, we got to mark that.
For sure. Paint like a S on it or something.
Put a green for like infection.
Yeah.
Ooh. No, okay, now you're getting off the rails. Let's talk about what we've done musically lately, and then we'll get into some, I don't know, other topics. And I think we all kind of maybe brought a weird question to ask. So we'll get into that soon.
Okay.
I didn't bring a weird question.
Well, every
This is
question,
casual. I can do what I want.
every question you have is weird. So just roll with it. Yeah. All right, David, what have you been doing lately for music?
Well, last week I finished recapping my PM1000.
Whoa, where'd that come from?
And this is one of the channel strips. I did 16 of these.
Okay.
And I replaced all these film caps from the tantalums, and then I replaced all the electrolytics, the MLCCs, and this big guy right here is the output cap. So next, I'm going to do my direct outs. You're sick.
Oh,
I need to sanitize that afterward.
this is going on your board anyway.
Give it a kiss, Tay. It's beautiful.
Don't touch that. No, get away. So,
You can't think straight now.
No.
You
Yeah,
ruined
I threw
him.
him
You
up.
broke David.
next I'll be doing my direct outputs, and then we can start building the desk.
Yes. I can't wait for that project to get started for you.
So what your EQ points, what did you go with again?
The high frequency is moved up to 12K.
Okay.
It had, speaking on the mic,
He's just getting in the way today.
it had these selectable mids as 1K, 2K, and 4K, which are weird points. So I changed 1K to 700, 2K to 1.7, and 4K to 3.2. And then the bass I changed to 80 hertz instead of 100. And I just made them the standard 1073 EQ points.
There you go.
Yeah.
I wanted to go lower with that low mid point, but it gets really weird because of the design, because it's an inductor design. You end up like with this, if you go much lower than 700, you end up with this giant, huge carve out from.
Yeah. Like, is it like 300 or something?
Yeah, it's like massive. It's like a huge, massive cut. So, I mean, the frequencies it's affecting, I mean, it's just, it's massive.
Do most people want to do this, what you did?
I don't know.
They
Or-
should.
like what, you just get it and you're like, I guess I'm stuck with this, or what do you want what you did?
I wanted what I did because I want the EQs to be similar in all the channels, but what I did differently in each of them is, so first of all, the transformers, for the first 8, I'm using Jensen's, and then for the second 8, I'm using the built-in Tamuras. And basically, this board is going to get more colorful as I go to the right. The first the first 12 channels have a different output capacitor, a Nikon one. It's a little bit cleaner sounding. And then the last 4 have this Elna Silmic, which is like super colorful. And I just wanted a nice palette of like 8 super clean ones, 4 decently clean, some color, and then 4 super colorful ones.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you have variation, and you can choose which ones to go into.
So why not a couple Lundals in there for super clean channels?
Because I wanted them to be similar, and the Jensen's were cheaper on eBay.
Cheaper. There we go.
And I like Jensen's. They're in my Demeter,
Sure.
and they're good.
Demeter. Yep.
Whatever it is.
Demeter.
We say it differently.
Yeah, whatever.
Please,
it is.
people in the comments below, let us know
Yes.
how you say Demeter.
Or
Demeter.
Or
We should
I
have
hardly know her.
Demeter.
we should have a whole episode
Could be
on
anything.
how to pronounce names, brand names.
Yeah.
Octava.
Octava, yep.
Octava. But it is Octava.
Avantone?
From the horse's mouth.
Avant tone.
Avant tone.
Right.
Hotone, which is
Hotone,
hot tone.
hot tone.
I've actually confirmed it's hot tone.
I knew that.
Finally. You did?
I
They
did.
didn't. When we asked originally, they're like, the distributor, we asked, they're like, whatever you want. No, it's hot tone.
And then finally, Alesis.
That's how I always said it too.
And then
Oh yeah, we hear some doozies for Alesis.
but we just did an episode there, so good job, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So Tay, what have you been doing musically?
I'm in the works of getting my drum set down in my basement set up. But before that happens, the only thing I've been up to is field recording. I got an H5 a couple months ago, and I've been using it to go out and record sounds. Now, originally I said bird sounds, and I've been doing that, capturing bird sounds. But we were at my cottage a couple weeks ago, and the spring peepers are out, the little frogs.
They have some weird names.
Daddy.
And and so like they're the first ones that really they come out and they just go beep 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 beep. Beep. They're everywhere. Okay. So they're the ones you hear outside.
Okay.
So we stopped by like a swamp area and they were just going nuts, and I recorded that too. So I'm recording it, more than just birds, but nature sounds and stuff like that. So trying to fine tune the gain. Where do I put the gain? If the sound is closer, I really turn it down so I don't get all the noise. But if it's away a little bit, I'll turn it up. But I'm really looking forward to getting a shotgun microphone. I think that's going to really up my game.
Yeah,
For sure.
Get a nice big one, long one.
Yeah,
And
Longer the better.
Well, the only problem with that is I want to be mobile with this, so I want to like have it because I got a gator case to put my H5 in, and there's a little compartment, and I kind of want to have a shotgun microphone that fits in there, so I can take it into the woods, or it's waterproof case, so I can take it kayaking or something. And
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
so that's my only restraint, is that like how do you get this field recording equipment like out there into the wilderness without
The only thing is, and the longer it is, the more directional it's going
Right.
to be. So
I mean,
if
maybe
you
I'll
go
do
with a
both.
short little one, you're limiting your distance. So it'll be better than just the onboard mics, but it's not going
Right.
to be as big of an improvement as a nice long shotgun mic.
I mean, honestly, I probably do both at some point, or
You
have
can get one of
both.
those little tubes with a little shoulder strap or something, waterproof.
Yes.
What you could do is just
idea.
get a shotgun mic that you can twist off and break into 2 parts.
True, they make those
Yeah.
too.
Oh,
Like the
that's a
Sennheiser
good idea.
one, right?
Maybe they might have one. I know that if you do the AKG C451 with the CK5 capsule, that
Okay.
would break in half, and that would end up being
Don't
about,
do this when you're talking about a shotgun mic.
yeah, and
Twist
being about
off.
like that long. And those things, I mean, the C451 preamp is really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about the CK5, but
I will definitely have to look into that, because I think I want a smaller size breakdown, and
Breakdown.
break it down, and I want it, but I want it small so I can pack it.
Yeah.
All right, Jay. Do you have anything lately you've been doing for music, or are you just
the only
stick in
thing
the
I
mud, or what?
did was with you guys here. I hit record for some golden age.
Warm audio.
Warm audio.
Oh my god.
Please do that. Warm audio WA84s.
84s, right? Which is going to be coming out. We don't like to put a timestamp on these episodes, but in the next couple of weeks, we're doing some
Right.
sound
So
samples.
I did some recording with that.
Yeah, you did. Got it.
I moved some mic stands around, plugged some cables in.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Got the
fun.
job done.
I
Okay.
hadn't done that in a while with another person, so it was fun.
Yeah.
Well, Jay has his laundry list again, so let's just
They're relying on me once again to carry the show.
no, we
False.
got.
I have a list too.
Oh, whoa!
Oh,
whoa.
let's go with your list then.
No, you can go first.
That's what I thought.
Ladies first, right?
Okay, just kidding. Apogee. You know who they are?
Oh,
You
yeah.
Familiar with Apogee? Good.
Yeah.
They have a new microphone. Did you hear about this?
No.
It's actually kind of cool. It's called the Hype mic.
Hype.
Not sure about the name, but the interesting thing about this mic is it's like the USB mic
Okay.
that they have. That's very, very popular microphone. Sounds great. It's like that, but it's designed for doing like podcasts and stuff, and it has a built-in analog compressor.
I did hear about this. It's
Okay.
pretty cool.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah,
right?
it's
I
awesome.
thought that was
You
pretty
can
awesome.
change that. You can adjust that,
I
or is it
assume so.
automatic?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess I didn't see one for that one.
Like a switch, like on or
It
off?
might just be automatic because it's designed for broadcast, which tells me they're going for probably brick wall limiting style compression.
If anybody knows, put it in the comments.
They're saying that
Yes.
that's like finished product out of that microphone into your
Okay.
computer. USB.
That's cool.
Nice.
That's pretty cool, I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention is I came across an awesome article on ProSound Web,
In your mic.
and there will be a link below. I sent it to you. It's about gain structure, which is like one of the most important things that you can know when you're recording. And everybody, if I said that and you don't know what I'm talking about, go read this article right now. It's long, but it's very detailed, and it explains gain structure, which is how you want your gear to interact with each other from one item to the next item. And if you maximize your gain structure, you get full dynamic range. You get whatever, 90 decibels of dynamic range. If you do things like turning your outputs up instead of your input gain, you start drastically reducing your dynamic range, which reduces the quality of your recordings and reduces your headroom. It's an important thing that I think a lot of people overlook. And this is a great article. And the cool thing about this article is they've been working on this article for a long time, and they keep updating it as time goes on, as they come up with new facts. And I read through it yesterday, and I learned a couple things. So
nice.
I definitely need to read that.
I think you should.
I got a lot of problems in that area.
You know how we did the thing with the new Zoom? What is it called? The
F6.
F6, I think it's called.
Yep.
The new field recorder.
Yep.
Okay.
Where we were talking about how it's got the two preamps built into it, and we were talking about dynamic range. This fits right in with that and explaining dynamic range.
That's cool.
Okay. Is that enough? I know it always puts people to sleep. Like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about?
No, but seriously, it's like at the end of the day, you're like, if something went wrong, you're like, well, it's usually because of that, or especially in broadcasting or podcasting, that it's super important, and to understand it is just paramount to anything else.
Yeah, I was when I was working in a studio, I was just not related to this at all, but Brian Paulson, who's recorded like some Wilco stuff and stuff, he was talking to another engineer, and he was talking about how gain structure was like one of the most important things that he had learned about, and how that made him a much better recording engineer. And it's good, and it's something you need to know, especially in live sound, but also in the recording studio. It's very important.
Yeah, because if you have problems at the input stage, you can't fix them.
Right. And in live sound, there are a lot more stages. Usually you've got crossovers and EQs and all kinds of stuff and you need to make sure you've got it all maximized. So in live sound, they use pads and all kinds of stuff to make sure they're maximizing their dynamic range. All right, enough about that boring thing. Now, let's get into something interesting. And I don't know, I'll ask David, have you heard of this thing? Because I had not heard of this, and it's kind of an amazing, weird piece of equipment that is no longer made, but was made in 2010. I don't think it lasted long because it was very expensive, but it's called the Evol, E-V-O-L audio. And I don't know how to say this. I'm gonna pronounce it in the kid-friendly way, but I don't think it's supposed to be. It's the Fussifier. Fussifier. You can do the math on that one, but it's spelled Fucifier. Yeah, it's the Evol audio Fussifier, and like the manual for this thing is like super elaborate, and it looks like it's like made out of human skin or something, like one of those old books made out of it's like seriously weird. But it's a distortion overdrive processor. It has an analog filter. It has a tape simulation built into it. It's got a germanium mic preamp, which germanium mic preamps I love. They're super colorful, and that's why they went with the germanium mic preamp. And then it's got a 5-band inductor-based EQ.
Wow.
And the reviews on it were all like, this thing is amazing.
Yeah.
I've never heard one. I came across it on eBay. There was one for $4,500, and it's like a super cool looking piece of gear. It's got all these crazy dials and bright LEDs and stuff. And I'm like, what is this thing? And why is it $4,500? And then I did the research on it. So you've never heard of it?
No.
What do you think? You can buy one?
Oh, no. For $4,500.
I don't know. How much were you gonna spend on that patch bay?
$2,000.
Okay.
I might still. I'm still not sure yet.
Just saying. And this is just a single channel, no phantom power either. Crazy, right?
Whoa.
It listed for about $2,200 back when it came out.
Oh, but it's rare, so that's why they're selling it for $45.
It's very rare. Obviously, that did not sell well, I don't think. But everything I read, like on Gear Sluts and stuff, people really liked it.
Yeah.
It was just $2,200 for essentially a distortion processor
with no phantom power.
Who's the manufacturer?
Evol Audio.
Oh, Evol.
So it was all a play on like this satanic
could be
stuff.
Evolution, maybe.
Yeah, like Evolution, but Evil.
Yeah.
I think they were going for evil. Probably was trademarked or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's all I got on that one. Okay, next up, Apple is in the news.
Yeah.
We familiar with this?
iTunes?
Have
Who
you heard?
makes Apple?
What?
What's an Apple?
Siri is going to allow third-party control of apps in iOS 13, which will probably have some big implications for us. So,
Lay it on me.
I don't know. We'll probably be able to do voice control with Siri to control our audio apps and stuff. Like if we were sitting here and we had a Siri and we wanted to hit record, and we're recording on an iPad or something, we could be like, Siri record, and then Siri stop. I don't know.
I want to know who actually uses voice commands.
I do. All the
Do you
time.
really?
Yeah. Every morning I wake up and I ask Alexa what the weather's going to be.
Dude, yeah.
I do every morning. And,
Yep.
I guess.
and I'll ask her what time it is. I mean, and she's gotten very polite too.
I guess like
She has. All of a sudden, she's like, you know,
you
the weather's
okay
going to be
today?
this. Have a good day. I'm like, that's unnecessary.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah, okay.
The robots, Daddy.
I guess that's nice.
I guess I was asking more of like when it matters, do you really want to be using voice commands like hitting record? Do you really want to be?
Sure, because there's usually an auditory feedback. Like you say, Siri hit record, and
ding,
it'll go
ding.
boop,
Okay.
and it'll be like, okay, have a good day. Okay, moving on. More Apple news. The Apple AirPods scandal.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's a scandal. The AirPod mic. Okay, so people are super pumped because the AirPods have a microphone built into it. They sound good. So people are thinking I'm going to like do streaming and stuff with this thing with just my AirPods. And it turns out that the mic is only allowed to be used in the phone setting and in the voice memo setting. And the internet is mad.
Wow.
What a scandal.
Scandalous.
They are
So
mad.
scandalous.
You know what the solution to this is? They're probably going to change it so that you can use it for other things. What it does right now is like if you're recording like something in an app or something, it just switches to the internal mic.
So you
guys
you
are
don't have
just speechless.
you don't have control over that microphone. Is what
Well,
you're saying.
I think it's a big deal because a lot of people have AirPods.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you
It's
have
probably the most popular in-ear Bluetooth headphone.
Okay.
It's got to be.
I've heard of them.
for
We've
Apple
got two
for
sets in
Apple
my house.
users? I mean, we're Android people, so
Yeah, exactly.
it's just kind of like
Explains a lot.
Yep. That explains our speechlessness.
Hey, I'm Evan with Focusrite Innovation, and this quarter, Pixel Pro Audio is giving away a 6i6. So to enter to win, go to pixelproaudio.com/allaccess and sign up for the newsletter for your chance to win the wonderful Focusrite 6i6.
all right. Well, I got something serious to talk about, so we're gonna get into it.
Okay.
No, then we'll move on to maybe you have a serious topic. I'm not sure. Hopefully you do, and then we
You
can
read the script too?
Did you read the script? The script says we have something very funny coming up.
That was it.
Wow.
Audient came out. They announced last month the Nero monitor control station. It's just like a form factor of like this.
Okay.
Is it really that small?
Yeah, it's like that. And it's basically I don't know what the equivalent would be. It's smaller than a big knob, Mackie big knob, but it's like
Is it about the
Well,
size
there are a
of
whole bunch of
central
big
station?
knobs now.
that's true. That's true.
The original big knob.
Well, anyway, so it's small, but it's a monitor control system. So it's got inputs and outputs, and I like this one, the Nero, because it does have the aux inputs. So it's got RCA jacks in the back for in, and then it also has a 1/8 inch in for another aux, so you can plug like a phone in or something. And then it's got, I think, 2 stereo inputs. And then it's got the outputs, normal stuff like 3, I think, and then, but what? And we
Do you happen? This is actually news to me. I'm ashamed to admit, but do you know like what the price point is on that? $300.
$499.
And it's not an interface.
No,
It's just a monitor controller.
just a monitor controller. I know we haven't talked about it on the show. We kind of were busy with some other announcements last month, but we didn't bring this up. And initially we were like, why would we need one? Because we have an ID44
Right.
that has built-in monitor control on it. So, you know, with touch.
That's obviously not as in depth as
No,
this thing.
Right.
But it
Right.
can do some of
It's
those
plenty
things.
for me though.
Right, exactly. So, and it's plenty for me too. So I'm like going like, like that sounds great and I love it, but I don't need it, kind of like, But then I looked at it again, and what struck me as like interesting is it has actually 4 headfoot. It has 4 headphone amps on it. So it's a headphone amp too.
Okay.
So there's 4 of them. There's one in the front, HP1, I guess, and then there's the 3 other plugs in the back for the other 3 headphones.
Okay. That brings the value up by at least
Yeah, so
$150, I'd say.
I was like, oh, so if it sounds really good, like I've had problems with headphone amps before. Like they're noisy. I don't, and they're functional, right? You just need sound coming through, so you don't need something that's great and awesome. But,
It depends what you're doing.
yeah, but for when I do the podcast, I just want to hear. But if it sounds better, I mean, it's
generally the better it
experience
sounds,
better.
the better everything's going to be.
So this thing, it's a monitor control, but then it has the dedicated headphone outputs, 4 of them. So that got me intrigued a little bit more about it. So I was like, okay, let me look at this again. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah, that
And it's
definitely
got-
adds a little something different to it. but-
Yeah.
Because as like the engineer
interesting.
sitting at the board, if you have your guest or your other 2 guests, so 3 total, you can tweak them, and then the cords are going out back, so you don't have a lot of cords sticking out front. That was
Which
our
is
complaint
great,
about a
yeah.
lot of things, is that there's cords in the front, and I hate that personally.
I'd really like to hear what our audience thinks of this thing.
Yeah,
If
the
people are
Nero.
interested in it and what they think of it, go look it up and tell us what you think, because just kind of curious what the customer take would be on this.
Like the things that we see as competition is like the PreSonus monitor station. That's a desktop thing, and then the Big Knob, Mackie Big Knob.
And then
they've
the
redone those.
PreSonus Central Station, which is similar price point.
rack unit. So those are the things I guess we'd like to compare to. If you guys have an opinion on it, we would totally love to know, because the Nero, as ID44 owners, we don't necessarily need it, but we could use it if we needed a headphone outputs more than one.
And if we needed more than the 2 monitors, 2
Right.
sets of monitors.
Which a lot of people do.
yeah.
Most studios have 3 sets. So
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I
okay,
got.
cool. What's David got?
For my question,
Is it a question?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Did you read the script too?
No, I saw a sheet of paper though.
So, do you guys think record labels are still relevant? What are your thoughts
wow.
on record labels?
Wow.
Because for decades they were kind of running the music industry, but now we've seen a huge fall of them, and it's largely because they weren't adding value to bands that could do these things on their own, but also B, they were kind of ripping off their artists.
Sure.
There've been tons of stories like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we don't know personally, but it's a stigma that's been out there. Like record companies are bad, right?
Right.
Like they, just take all the profits or something, or they really got the corporate hold on the music, corporate hold on the band, kind of
right,
thing.
and
Stigma.
that's it's very close to ending. I mean, there's still a few bands that are still on tight labels like that, but
I think it depends on the artist, really.
Yeah.
I think it's still very, very difficult to get your name out there. And if you have a good record label, they can maybe get it in front of the right people. Like I know that Jeff Tweedy has a record label from Wilco, but that's like artist focused because he's an artist himself. So they're getting their artists in front of their niche audience, right?
Right.
So if it comes on that label, there's a group of people that are going to buy that album and they're going to listen, or they're at least going to listen to it.
Right.
And I think so there can be value there, but I think like in terms of like creating music that's innovative and that people want to listen to, I think that those days have kind of passed. Like I think when you saw MP3s come in and the music industry was kind of destroyed, I think they just went into safe mode and they all started going for the safe stuff. And so like pop music is not that interesting to me. No offense, sorry to anybody else, but it's just not that interesting to me anymore. It's
you're not sick of the same 4 chords?
right. It's like I said, it's not. You listen to the music in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. And then you hit the 2000s and all of a sudden just like that sound innovation and that innovation just kind of went away. It's just not, you can hear those eras and they all have a unique, interesting sound except for the last 20 years, in my opinion. There's lots of great music coming out, in my opinion. It's just not on the major record labels.
Right. What are your thoughts?
I think there's a place for record labels. If for a starting out band or a band that can't get anywhere, like you said, it provides some traction for them on the smaller scale. I think it does. Yeah. Networking is what you're talking about. Like you know, these record labels can get it to the right people, and then
That's their main function, is getting you in front of your crowd.
They can, you know, if you get big enough, the record label will fund your CD project or your recording project
with lots of strings attached.
Yes, and so that's where it's always come in. Like, you know, record label's bad. Like they just, you know,
but I think
they
those
fund it, but then they take all the profit.
Those deals, I think, got a lot worse because their profit margins went to, you know, they tanked basically.
Yeah, they used to be all about like CD distribution,
Right.
and
There was
CD
a lot of
sales
money in that.
Yeah, and well, there was, and
And now with streaming, it's just like that stream of money has drastically dried up.
The other perception was that the bands would make their money off of merchandise and touring, and never off of the actual music sales themselves.
right. That
Unless
was
you were a
just
superstar.
right. And the record label was essentially just providing an audience, like they were providing the resources for bands to make music videos, good recordings, get on the radio and stuff like that. But they were also organizing the tours and the merch deals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But now a lot of bands have been able to do that by themselves. Yes, it's more work, but it's a bigger payoff for the people who are willing to do it.
Right.
So I think there's a place for record labels. It's just now it's kind of reformed, and you know, it has to kind of come out of its ashes, so to speak, and you know, be advantageous for the bands that they're recording.
I think it's a cool age in a lot of ways, because those bands that did kind of establish themselves on record labels earlier on, like Wilco, were able to just split off and say, we're going to do it ourselves. We're going to make our own label. We're going to put our music out ourselves. We'll even just give it away for free. And because we make all of our money on shows anyway. Yeah. So we want to, you know, the most number of people to hear our music so they come to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you like Wilco? That's the third time you've mentioned them today.
I think
They're pretty good.
Maybe he does.
Yeah. They're pretty good. They're one of my favorites. They are my favorite.
Top 20 band for Jay.
Numero uno.
I got a dumb question for you guys.
Okay.
My question is, visualize this: that the bird's nest behind the computer here, all those cables all wiring together. Everyone's got one. It happens to everybody. What if all the gear was Bluetooth connected?
No.
What if the converters came out of the board and just Bluetoothed it right over to the interface?
The loss in audio quality through Bluetooth, through anything wireless, is ridiculous.
Do you see wireless Bluetooth? Because I'm saying it because it exists, but you know.
There's no reason that has to be true, but there is always going to be at least some delay introduced by, you know, converting it and then putting it through the air and then decompressing it.
Right. So what if all these three microphones weren't plugged in? They were just Bluetooth.
I mean, it'd be fine with me as long as there was no loss in quality.
And no delay and no chance of them getting like mixed up with frequency ranges.
Right, but then you got to have a good mic preamp in your microphone. And then you got to have a power source.
Yep.
And then so
Battery.
you're not really wireless anyway.
Good point.
I don't know. I see maybe this is where it goes eventually, but I think it's a long road to it. But I just was thinking about that. I was thinking about eliminating cables altogether.
We've kind of done that with plugins instead of
That's true.
outboard gear.
Yeah, I mean we have Bluetooth, you know, microphones for stage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wireless.
Live is a totally different animal.
Yeah.
I mean, most people don't care what you sound like live as long as they can hear you and it's not hurting their ears.
Well, not if you go
I
to
care.
Wilco.
I care.
So, do you ever think? Do you think the wireless Bluetooth would ever make it to the studio?
It could. It would have to be lossless.
Yeah.
There's no reason it can't. It's just got to be lossless. And right now, Bluetooth is
Yeah,
not great.
yeah, and I guess the counter.
What do people
argument-
think? This is another question. What do people think about that?
Yeah.
Let us know whether you use any Bluetooth in your studio and whether you would, and whether you've noticed that loss in quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's an interesting question, and I thought about it, and maybe someday it'll be flawless, like you say, and it'll work.
It will be. It'll be lossless. I don't know if there'll be no delay though.
That's lossless.
Maybe 5G.
5G. Yeah, there you go. All right, Jay, get your sheet there. Read that last
Get your
line.
sheet together.
GOT. Okay, the Game of Thrones finale.
The
All right,
Game
I'm
of
going to turn
Thrones.
off for a second here.
You power down.
Jeez Louise, what is wrong with you? All right, what did you think?
So we're doing spoilers here.
Oof. Yes, of course. So shut this down if you don't want any Game of Thrones spoilers.
So Game of Thrones spoilers from here on forward.
This is the end of the episode. This is the last thing we're going to
Yeah.
talk about. Flash forward to the end if you want to see the goofy thing Tay's going to put together at the end. There'll be something.
Bloopers.
The bloopers. He always puts bloopers at the end. I don't know. A lot of people probably don't know that because I know like when I hit the end of a video, I usually I'm out of there.
Oh.
But there are bloopers at the end of every single one of our videos, and it's
99%.
usually the best part of the show. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's true.
It's worth waiting for.
Okay, so
Okay.
spoilers start now.
Game of Thrones ending season. No, not season, but series. Finale.
Series finale.
I thought it was rushed. Felt like it was put together. It was almost a letdown.
Yep.
If you go through what happened list by list, it seems okay on paper. But then like the way it happened and the rushness of the last season just seemed it fell flat. It felt they didn't do it
to me,
justice.
Game of Thrones started like this. Like the first book is and the first season is like whoom, straight up, like lots of plot, lots of interesting things happen, and then you get this long, slow arc that lasts for how many seasons? Do they
Probably
have?
3. I think 3 to 6 is
Just
really
long,
good.
slow arc, and the books are the same way, where it's just this long, slow but good arc, and then you get to the end, and it's just like the rest. So you've got this much of the story here in the first book, and then you've got this much on the last season of Game of Thrones, and then like that's the majority of the content. All this other stuff in the middle is just like at the last episode or the last season was just like whew,
Yep,
right off the cliff.
And
They jammed way too much. It should have been at least 2 seasons.
oh, absolutely. And the HBO execs have come out and said, no, this was planned. That we talked about this. This is how we wanted it, and it did it justice and stuff. And they're just putting out fires here, and coming down from the top saying, no, it's good. But we all know it sucked. And it was rushed.
The first 3
didn't do it
episodes should have been a
justice.
season, and the last 3 episodes should have been a season.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's only 6 episodes.
There's only 6 episodes.
They were longer. They were an hour and a half long.
They said shooting each one was like shooting a movie. I mean,
Yeah.
the scenes and the battles and the season were awesome. I thought they were
Yeah.
really good. They were really well done, and I think a lot of time and effort went into them.
Yeah.
But
The character development, I think, in the last season was horrible.
Varies, just
Yeah.
like he did that. He's dead.
Yeah.
See you later.
I didn't know. We're getting to the end here. We gotta kill this guy off. Okay, let's just kill him off quick.
Yep.
Yeah, be done with it.
And now Bran doesn't want to be king, but he knew he was going to become king, so he came.
Right, but he's the one that set it up because he told everybody everything that they needed to know.
Basically, he planned everything.
Right, but he didn't want the throne, but then he did. And why would you give it to him?
Maybe
I
he
don't
saw
know.
worse things in the future. That's the only thing. My wife
just not-
Keely said she thought that it made sense because he thought that he needed to be the king for
Good purpose.
third
or
eye
whatever.
purposes.
Sure. Well, whatever.
Third eye is like sight. Beyond
I know what that
sight.
is.
Sight
Yeah.
beyond
Sight beyond sight.
Yes.
I've never seen a Game of Thrones episode. I don't really plan to because I don't have HBO or the time to watch Game of Thrones.
David's kind of a cultural moron.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. I know nothing about pop culture and the things that people do.
It's his badge of honor.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Game of Thrones had this way of it where it was like everything was weaved in, and like the weaves could go anywhere, anytime, and you were just like sitting on the edge of your seat, going like, "What's gonna happen next? I gotta watch the next episode." That's what it was about. And the last season, you're just like, "Oh, they're gonna finish up. I can see that happening. I can see that. Okay, yeah, we're done."
Yeah, it was. I didn't
know,
know. I didn't see Bran being the king, but a lot of the other stuff. Yeah, I totally
it's 'cause
saw
they-
that Jon Snow was going to kill Dany, and
yeah.
that was like super telegraphed.
There's like only 4 things that they try to keep from you to like save it for the episode. Like, who's gonna be king? We gotta save it for the last episode. Who's gonna kill the Night King? We gotta save it for that episode. So they did these like a few things where there's like they're trying to hold it back.
There were some awesome moments though.
Yeah, there was.
When Dany loses it and goes on her murder spree. Like
Yeah.
that was a pretty like to me. I was just like, oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So was it kind of like Anakin with the Tusken Raiders?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
And
So does this guy hate sand too?
it's a girl.
It's a girl.
Danny.
She hates dissent.
She hates the sand.
She's sort of like, she sort of becomes like a Kim Jong-un sort of person at the end.
Yeah, her transformation is good to bad, basically.
Like overnight.
Yeah.
Overnight. You go from them defeating the White Walkers, where she's still a good guy, to basically just overnight, no, I'm horrible dictator going to kill everyone who doesn't agree with me.
Which is why we're complaining, because that transformation should have been in a whole season, basically.
You should have seen that like slowly creep in. Even Star Wars does a better job of that with Anakin.
No, they didn't. Though.
Yeah, they did.
I don't think so. It's like,
then-
no, I pledge my allegiance to you, Palpatine.
No,
And
they-
then-
I was gonna kill you a few seconds ago, but
They sprinkle
I'll
in
kill kids
lots
for
of
you now.
clues throughout earlier on throughout where he's getting overly angry at stuff, and you can
sand.
you can see that darkness
What's with
coming.
you in the sand? Are you a bastard from Dorne?
What?
Nothing. It's a Game of Thrones joke.
Okay.
Anyway, let's wrap this up
Missing
here.
it. Okay, yeah.
So,
That's right.
Game of Thrones was good. It's worth watching, but
Yeah,
the end of the series is gonna be a little disappointing for you.
I'll take your word for it.
you should watch it. It's good.
Okay.
All right, guys,
When you start having babies,
you need some time.
you'll have time to do things like this.
I got 2 cats. That counts, right?
No, cats kind of take care of themselves.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
Well, thanks for trudging
Watching
through this
this
episode.
long
Yep.
episode.
Yeah.
We will be back for another Casual Friday sometime soon.
Yeah.
But until then, guys, we'll see you on the drum next time. Well, I've got something, Jay. Something serious.
What is he
I
talking
don't
about?
know. I think he's got a fever.
Get the cowbell.
You think that's funny, huh?
Oh, it's better than a knee slapper. I don't know what that means.
Remember that one time when we like had the perfect take and then you didn't record?
Everybody talking to their mics.
Laugh it up, scruffball.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Everybody talking to their mics. So when I clap, you're supposed to be ready.
Yeah. That's pretty useful.
Clap is like, get ready, okay? We're going to go soon.
Come on,
You
man.
can just start. This is casual.
Yeah.
This is the start. This is the start.
Wait, Tay, was that during the clap? Okay, we're good then.